I know. I'm just saying, it's so crazy. You're a black woman, you go, you know what? I want to find a man that's strong enough to deal with me. Fine, you could do that. But you can guarantee that the black man is probably not going to want to look for the super strong black woman who's going to be combative. What I'm hearing is black women don't want to date guys in non-exciting positions because they don't deem him to be a strong black man.
The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. I decided I want to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself, and not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanGray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 350 videos on our channel. Dr.Sebi inspired cooking tutorials, we got that. Travel and lifestyle vlogs, got it. Makeup, got it. Hair growth, got it. Real estate, got it. Basketball, got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will probably be on our story. And you can find me at DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you do every day. For us, that's the food project, the music project, the clothing project, the fitness project, the sports project, and the Bamboo Project Podcast, which you are listening to right now. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 2, page 72. This podcast has 4 different segments. All right. The first one is the life update. On the way to creating 1,000 millionaires, we'll have our ups and downs. All of that will be in our life update. Then we have the second segment, which is episode playback. It's a recap of last week's episode and the things I could have done better, or the things I want to rephrase or say again or clear up. Then we have the third segment, which is Donovan's questions. It's a question that I had earlier in the week that I wanted to present to you and kind of see where you stand on it. And then we have the fourth segment, which is the topic of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description below. Today's day is August 3rd. It is 7:25 p.m. So today's agenda, there are 2 topics I want to kind of get to. It's black women don't know how to flirt. Hope we get to that. And can the women you love be the woman that you fuck? I think I spend too much time on my phone, so I like to have a weekly check-in every time I do the podcast of how much time I spent on my phone last week. So before we start and get to life update, I am going to go over how much time I spent on my cell phone last week. All right. So it's kind of interesting. I almost spent the same amount of time each day on my phone, which is kind of crazy. So that's interesting. On Sunday, I spent 9 hours on my phone. On Monday, I spent 9 hours and 7 minutes on my phone. And Tuesday, so far, I spent 9 hours and 12 minutes on my phone. So it's pretty much 9 hours on my phone, which again, I always think that's so crazy. There's 24 hours in the day. 9 of those hours, I'm on my phone. 8 of those hours, I'm probably sleeping. I don't sleep for 8 hours, but let's see. So if I did 8, let's do 9 plus like 6 hours plus 6. That's 14. So I have 10 hours left in a day. Still kind of a lot of hours. That's kind of crazy. I feel like I'm missing something. Either way, I have 14 hours out of my day. I'm either sleeping or on my phone. So, and then let's see what I spend my time on most. Let's see, Safari, 2 hours and 30 minutes, YouTube, 2 hours, Instagram, an hour and 45, Airbnb, an hour and 1 minute, Twitter, an hour. So yeah, and I had 107 pickups today. So yeah, that's my daily average. My bad. Let me see. Hold on. Today I had 107 pickups. So let's get into life update. I think I have some very interesting topics today that I think I might enjoy these topics. I'm trying to figure out what I should start with first. Which one do I feel I'm most passionate about starting with? I think I'm going to start with my phone call with my therapist that I had. I think that is a very important conversation that I had with him. And it taught me something about myself that I didn't know. No, I wouldn't say I didn't know it. I would say it reinforced a thought that I've had about myself that people have told me, but I've never been able to understand or process. We were on the phone and he was telling me for the most part that he realized after asking me to explain some scenario, I don't remember exactly which one it was, that I'm not very in tune with my emotions. And I've heard that before, but I'd never understood what that means. I always felt like, okay, I know that I'm having these emotions. I know that something is causing them, and I know how to act once I have those emotions in terms of how to respond to a situation. So I can't remember exactly what scenario he was talking about, but he was asking me to explain how I felt during it. And while I was explaining it, he was like, you gave me a bunch of thoughts on what was going on through that situation, but you didn't explain to me how you actually felt in that time. And I was thinking, I don't know what that means. What do you mean? How did I feel in that time? So like I said, I don't remember exactly what time. We had talked about two different things. I don't remember the first one, but this is the second one that came up. There was a video that we did a while back when we went to Philadelphia, and we almost crashed. Well, not we. I almost crashed the car, right? I fell asleep. I told the whole story on the channel. I'll put the video up here, and then you can go back and listen to it. So he was asking me to explain that situation, right? And when I was explaining it to him, he was telling me, okay, it seems like you are very in tune at being able to understand logically why something is happening. You are very in tune with your body and how to control what's happening in that moment whenever you have a high level of emotion. And to me, I'm thinking as a compliment. I'm taking it as a compliment. I'm like, okay, this is a great thing because that's what I strive to do. I strive to, and I learned from this conversation, I strive to not let my emotions come up. That's what I've learned, because I always felt like emotions don't really have a place at the table, so there's no reason for you or for myself to have them. So while we were talking about it, he asked me to break down what I felt during this incident. And it's a little context. Was driving a car with Melissa in it, and I fell asleep on the highway, and we swerved across 3 lanes, and then we almost hit the side barrier, and then I kind of woke up as we were crossing over one of the lanes because the ground makes a sound when you cross over it, and I woke up and I got the car back on the road. So as I was explaining this to him, like, okay, I heard everything you said, but everything you explained to me was your thought process on it, but you didn't tell me how you felt. He's like, none of the language you used was how you felt in that moment. And it was baffling to me because I thought I was explaining to him, okay, this is what was happening. This is what I was thinking was going on. This is what I thought I felt. And he was saying that a lot of times people confuse what they think with how they feel. And I never understood that. And he had to, we worked through it a little bit more. And he kept asking me different questions, right? So one of the things I've learned in the past is that I have control over my emotions in the sense of whenever I try to be emotional, I normally cry, right? So I feel like whenever, let's say I'm writing my mom a letter for her birthday, because that's what she likes. My mom loves me to write her a letter for her birthday and things like that, Christmas and whatnot, and so does my sister. I'm not really into doing that. The reason being is I feel like it gets repetitive, and there's only so many times that I can say, it's only so many times I can genuinely write a letter about how I feel about somebody, and I don't want to oversaturate that with just writing a letter every single birthday, like, oh, I love you, you're a great mom, you do the best, good job. I don't want to do that. So when I do write it, I get very emotional when I write it, and I don't like to write them over and over again. So I know when I write them, I feel like I'm gonna cry when I write them because I feel I know that the more genuine I am when I write this letter, the more receptive she'll be to it. And for the most part, whenever I give it to my mom or my sister, they normally cry. And I feel that that happens because when I write the letters, I'm very genuine in how I express my feelings in the letter, right? So I know how to do that. So I had an idea of what he was talking about when he was saying for me to explain my emotions. So come back to the driving incident, right? So we were talking about it again. Again, he wants me to go over what happened. And I never really noticed this until now, until he said this, because it's not something I think about. I don't really think about that moment very often. It's something that happened and I don't process it. I just like, all right, it is what it is. But when he asked me to explain it using emotion, I felt like I was going to cry. And I was like, this is kind of crazy because in my mind, this is an emotion. This is an incident in my life that I deem as insignificant. I don't think it's an important event. It's just something that happened. But when I explained it with emotional language, I felt myself getting emotional. And I was just like, okay, I kind of understand what you're talking about. So some of the things that we talked about on the phone was it's 3 words that stick out to me for the most part, right? It was embarrassment, it was guilt, it was feeling bad, and it was another one. I think there's another one, right? So how I explained it to him was, and I think this will be Melissa's first time hearing this, it was, again, this is why I have a therapist. I didn't even know this was a thing that exists. I didn't know this, right? I didn't know this. But so even it's hard for me to say this, which is why I realized that emotionally I'm not good at emotions. And I thought I was because I'm able to control them. But I think the issue is I don't express my emotions. And I didn't know that. I thought I was. I never felt like I was. But here's the sentences that I was saying to him on the phone. Okay. I'm going to tell him I say this to Melissa. Okay. Whew, this is tough. This is a tough one. Trying not to get emotional. I'm trying. This is tough. See, this is why now I feel it in my eyes, and this is crazy because I feel like this is not a moment that in my mind I thought was a big moment. It's so crazy to me. Okay. Trying to get it out. Whew. Okay. So I remember the third word now. I remember what the third word was. I think I remember the third word. But okay. So I feel bad that I put you in a situation where you don't feel safe. And this is rough. This is not even a big moment. I feel like this is I feel like this is not supposed to be. This is supposed to be like a regular thing, but this just goes to show me where I'm at with my emotions. So, I feel bad. I don't know. I feel like this is not something I feel like I should be crying about. And I don't. This is so crazy how emotions work. And it's something I learned today and kind of still trying to get the sentence out. Which shows me that I guess I don't know how to say it. I guess I don't have control over my emotions, or I don't operate in them enough to know how to deal with them. So what I'm trying to say is that I feel bad that you don't feel safe with me driving the car. And it's embarrassing to me that I will put you in a situation where you can't trust me to keep you safe. So I feel okay. I feel like I said, this is a moment that I did not think was that important. I just thought it was something that happened, and it was like, all right, we survived that. It was cool or whatever. But this just goes to show me that I guess what I do with my emotions is I just kind of push them down, and then I have the ability to bring them up in times like this, and thank you. To bring up in times like this where right, to bring up in times like this, and I know that I can more or less cry on demand, and I say that because I know that when I speak like this, I usually cry. So I don't really know how to take that, but that's something I learned that I can do, and it's because I don't speak emotionally very much. So whenever I do, I tear up. So as I was saying was that I also feel guilty by, again, like I said, by putting you in a situation. So it hurts me that whenever we drive now, you still don't feel comfortable with me driving. And these are things that we talked about on the phone with the therapist. And when I first described it to him, I described it to him like this. We crossed 3 lanes, I described, I didn't want to hit the side of the wall. So I made sure there were no cars. I looked around, made sure that we were going to be safe in terms of not hitting anybody. I just wanted to make sure the car wasn't damaged. I wanted to make sure that we didn't get hurt. And I was focusing on keeping the wheel and not turning it too much because I also did not want to flip the car over while we were driving. Now, that's all the things that I'm thinking about. That's not how I'm feeling. That's all the things that I'm thinking. But to me, when I was explaining it to him, I was explaining it as I thought that's what I was feeling. I just, for whatever reason, that's how I thought that I was feeling in that moment. It's okay, I don't want us to get into an accident. So that is So again, as I was explaining that to him, he was telling me, okay, look, those are not, you were not using words that would describe how you feel. And another thing that I learned from this, and I'm going to go look more into this, is that I think for me personally, I don't have the vocabulary. I don't have an emotional vocabulary. So I think because I don't have an emotional vocabulary, that means that there's only a couple of words I can pull from. So let's say that I am sad. Let's just go with simple words. Let's say that I'm sad, but the only words I know are angry and pissed off. So I'm only going to say those words to describe how I think I'm feeling. Because I'm like, okay, this is sadness, but I don't know a word for sadness. So I'm going to call it anger and pissed off. That's what I'm going to call it. And that becomes a problem because now when I communicate that, or if I even tell myself that, I now go, okay, let's say if I was to describe what sad felt like. Again, it's just a hypothetical situation. Let's say when I feel sad, my toes get cold, right? Let's just say that. So now whenever my toes get cold, I'll go, oh, I'm pissed off right now because I think that my toes being cold means that I'm pissed off. So now that I'm telling myself that I'm pissed off, I'm going to do things that are in line with being pissed off as opposed to what a person would do when they're sad. And I think that that would help for me, because then I also get to understand how I'm feeling. Because if I have words tied to the emotion that I'm feeling, I go, okay, I know what I'm feeling now because this is what that feels like. So something I wanted to do today was kind of look up some emotional words and see what words they have that are for emotions. Because like I said, I don't, obviously the regular emotions, angry, happy, sad, anxious, happy, things like the basic words, the basic one. But I don't necessarily feel like a lot of people really use words like shame. I don't think people really use words like embarrass or guilt that much. I think those are words that people know, obviously, but I don't think when they're expressing how they feel, I don't think they use those words to say, you know what, I feel really guilty or I feel shameful about what happened. I don't think that's how people react or respond. I think they might say this probably much often. They'll say, I don't like that. That's what I learned myself too, is I'll say, I don't like that, but I don't have a emotion to tie to why I don't like it. Like, not even that. I don't have an emotion to explain why I don't like that, because it makes me feel embarrassed. It makes me feel guilty. It makes me feel shameful. So now that I know that, I go, okay, I can kind of, operate with that. But let's see what kind of emotional words they have. Okay, here we go. Here's some. They have a list. It's 1, 2, 3. It's 4 columns. And I'm going to read 3 from each one. So in the first column, you have positive emotional words. All right. So you have generous, you have hope, and you have, let's see, another one, present. That's a really good one. Present. That's a good one. In the negative column, you have 3, which would be, you have humiliate. That's the one I don't think people use very often. You have frighten, and you have deception. Those are 3 in that column. Then the third column is stress. The stress column. So in the stress column, they have abandonment. They have dependence. And I'm going to say the third one is, I'll go with, I'm going to say depression. No, I'm going to go with lost. And then the fourth column is neutral. And I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is. So, but I think those are some emotional words, I think. So I'm going to look more into it, because that was just what I found on Google right now. So I'm going to try and find more of like a study of people that use words. But like I said, for me, it was important to understand that I don't express my emotions at all. And what I mean by that is, I don't use those words when I feel a certain way. What I learned, something that happened today, is what my brain will do when I feel emotional about something. I will ignore the emotion. So let's say that the emotion's at the bottom. I'll jump over that and I'll go to, why do I feel that? And then I'll try and solve that problem. I don't even address the fact that I'm emotional about it. If I'm angry, sad, happy, I just go, what's causing that? All right, that's what it is. I need to get rid of that thing. So that was a interesting conversation that I've had with my therapist today. So listen, it's going very interestingly. This is why I got a therapist. I am happy with the therapist that I'm with. Like I said, I cannot say that I express my emotions. I thought I did. I thought by saying that I don't like something, that's expressing my emotion. I thought by even showing my emotion, that's expressing it. But I feel like being able to communicate the emotion is not just by saying what is bothering you, but by saying how what's bothering you or bothering me makes me feel. So like I said, this is just another situation. I'm gonna use an example from today, and then I'm going to go to the next topic. So I was on the phone with someone today, Melissa and I, and we were talking about Airbnb, and she was telling us that she has or wants to do Airbnb in Philly. And when I asked her for the address, because I wanted to see, you know, if it was a good area or not, she was hesitant about giving me the address. She said, "Oh, you know, don't steal it." And I was just thinking, I don't like that, right? That's my immediate response is I don't like that. But now the problem would be is I need to figure out the words to explain why that bothers me. And this is why I would have to go into my vocabulary of emotional words. So maybe I would say, I feel like you don't trust me. Maybe that's something I would say. Like I said, this is an example of why I need to work on it. Because all I know is I don't like that. I don't like how what you did made me feel. And now I'm going to have a response to that. I'm going to do something about what you just did to me. And now that's a problem. So that's why I personally, like I said, this is something I want to work on. So we're going to go on to the next topic is Airbnb. I want to give an update on that since we already kind of touched on a little bit of Airbnb topics. The last time we talked about Airbnb, I was saying that we had, I remember. The last thing I said was the agent had, well, you know what's funny? I'm going to come back to this, which is funny. The agent had told us that he had a meeting that day or the day before, and he was actually about to go and talk to the owner and see what they say, right? So, and I believe on Tuesday, I also read the text that I got from him, right? So he texted him back and we said, everything is good. That's good with us. We're fine. He said, okay, I'm going to get the documents the following day. He said to me, all right, if everything is good, I'm going to prepare the documents. Perfect. So Friday, we received our first corporate lease on Friday for 3 units, right? When I tell you I was excited, I was very excited because you know what else I was? I know another word. See, I'm learning my emotional vocabulary words. I was very proud of myself for being able to close this deal. If you guys know about Dragon Ball Z, I felt like that in the house. Melissa wasn't here. I felt like I was going Super Saiyan in the house. I was screaming and yelling because I'm just excited and proud that I was able to finally close this. I'm like, okay, we're going to have 3 units in Philadelphia. This is great. I'm so happy. I'm so excited, right? So I'm reading over the contract and I'm just like, okay, there's a couple of things in here I'm not really okay with. The first thing was that the price was off by $50, right? So originally, when we first saw the listing, there was 3 apartments, one for $1,900, one for $2,000, and I think one for $2,100, right? And the listing price came out to $60.50, right? $6,050. And we had agreed that every unit would be $2,000. So I just kind of went over that. Now I hope that doesn't cause an issue because it's only $50. But that was one thing. Something else I went over was that in the lease, they did not say about us having concessions of having the first month of the following year free. That's another thing I didn't see in the lease. Also, Melissa, well, I want us to get into the property as soon as possible because I don't want to miss out on the higher or the more, what would you say? The more, what would you say? The busy. I don't want to miss out on the busy season in Philadelphia, and I don't want to have to start in the down season. So I want to get started as soon as possible. So I'm thinking like, okay, let's do this. Prior to that email though, we had said that we were going to do 3 weeks from whenever we signed a lease. However, that was 4 weeks ago that we said that. They've been going back and forth with us for over 3 weeks about this. So now, as opposed to starting on the 1st of August, we would have been starting on pretty much the 1st of September for the most part, right? And I'm thinking to myself, that's crazy. Like we're starting in September. This is insane. So that was another one. And then I think the fourth one, I wrote them down. Let me just double check what the fourth one was because I think there was a fourth one. Right. And this is to me was the most important thing was us being able to have them put first and last month's rent towards first and second month's rent, because what we were trying to avoid is we put up the first month rent, which is $6,000. We put up the last month rent, which is $6,000. And then we have to go and pay the second month rent when it comes up. So right off the back, as soon as we start, we're putting up the 4 months of deposit, right? That's what they wanted. They wanted first, last, and 2 months security. So that's $24,000 that they would want. And then once we put that up, we pay our first month rent, and then we got to pay $6K again in 4 weeks. And it's like, damn, that's $30K before we really even got moving. So now I was able to negotiate that we can have the first and last month rent go towards the first and second month rent. So now once we put our deposit down, we don't have to pay rent until it would be August, September, until October. That's how we would do it. And that kind of gives us time to get everything situated. So that's what I was thinking when I saw the message, right? I'm like, okay, we got to fix all these things. So I'm just like, damn, I should probably text him. But I know from my experience of picking up women and my experience of doing wholesaling, it's always better to call the person. If it's going to be, you know, 2 or more topics, I feel like it's always better to call, because you don't want to text them and then find out that they don't understand what you're saying. They respond to the text late, and now your things are going 3 or 4 days longer. That's what I've learned from myself. So as much anxiety as I might have felt wanting to call, I said, okay, you know what? You got to call. Just get yourself ready. Go take your shit, you know, because whenever I get anxious, I'm like, all right, got to take a shit. So let's go take a shit, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Call them. Everything went smoothly. It was great. I was just like, wow, this is better than I thought it was going to be. And when we were on the phone, I was like, okay, can we move in on Monday? We had this phone call on Friday. He was like, what? No, you can't. What? No, you can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, actually, no. Let me not say that. I didn't ask because I didn't want to spook him and make him go, why do you want to move in on Monday? You don't have insurance. You don't have, the furniture is not moved out of the house yet. We haven't done any of the actual paperwork. Why do you want to move in on Monday? So when he said no, I said, okay, fine. I'm like, all right, you know what? What day was good for y'all? He said the 15th. I said, okay, perfect. 15th. It's not 3 weeks. It's 2 weeks, but it's a start. As long as we're still on the same page, right? And then everything went good. Hang up the phone. I'm super excited again. I'm like, yes, we finally did it. I'm happy. I'm like, all right, boom. And I forgot to call him and say, oh, we gonna get first month rent free of next year, right? So I'm like, damn, fuck, I gotta call him back. And again, anxiety. I'm like, fuck, I gotta call him back. You know what time? Just do it. Just call him back. Get it over with. Call him back. Now, this is the thing I realized was talking to him in that situation is I was so focused on getting that concession that I ignored the fact that I was still talking to a person. And the reason I realized that is because I didn't ask how he was doing. I didn't really ask how he was doing. And then once I asked him for the first month's rent of next year, he's like, yeah, sure, we could do that. He was like, have a good weekend, right? And I was just like, damn, because my brain, it was quiet after he said yes to the first month rent of next year. So that just showed me that in terms of on a communication standpoint, I think I did not do well in that moment because I treated it just solely on get this deal done for the deal, and I just ignored the fact that he's still a person. So I feel like that was a problem. I didn't ask how he was doing. I didn't see how what he did last week, what he's doing for this weekend coming up, or anything like that. So I learned recently that it's very important to remember that deals are done with people. That's what deals are done with. So you want to always make sure that you are talking to a person. That's what I've learned. So that's where we at right now. He told me that we would get the contract to DocuSign on Monday, which would have been yesterday. Today is Tuesday, but I'm not tripping too much for the simple fact that last week he told us we would get the documents the next day, and we had to wait 4 days. And which we told us on Monday. I don't think we got it until Friday. So we told us last Friday is a go, and now here we are on Tuesday. So I'm hoping we get it by tomorrow or Thursday, and we already have all our color schemes more or less locked in. And there's some stuff bubbling with the Airbnb market that we're doing right now. Like there's some stuff happening that we done. I think that we have figured out all the kinks that we need to figure out to be able to have a very high profit margin Airbnb in that area. I've been doing a lot of research, looking at all the minimum stays, looking at how much they charge per month, how many ratings they have, all different type of things. And I really think that we are on our way to being able to make a lot of money with this Airbnb. So like I said, you guys know I'm gonna keep you updated on what goes on with that. Hopefully we get those units, because once we get those 3, listen, content for y'all, information for y'all. We about to get into the bag, about to be rich. So you feel me? So, I'm gonna just leave it at that. The next thing I wanted to do was actually one more thing with Airbnb. I am now in love with Fiverr. Okay. I will now use Fiverr when I start wholesaling again. I will use Fiverr for any data, because I'm a data guy, right? That's what I learned this myself. I thought I loved to input data. I don't. I actually don't like doing that at all. I like to read data. And I watched the interview with Mr. Beast. Y'all know who that is. If you don't, big YouTuber, right? He says, outsource all the things you don't like to do to somebody else and do the things you like to do for you. Keep that for yourself. So I like to read data. On Fiverr, I was able to pay somebody $15 to input all the data that I wanted him to input, which is like data for maybe close to 100 different units. And I have a spreadsheet now of all the different data points that I wanted for him. And I could read it. I can see the patterns. I can see who's charging what. I can see where they're located. I can see which areas do them. It's amazing. I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. So like I said, that's where I'm at with that. And then the last thing with Airbnb is that I figured out a lot of times, I don't think people do. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't do this. It's my theory, but I'm a stalker. Definitely, 100%. I'm like investigative reporter on anything that if I need to find a person, I'm gonna be looking all types of crazy for them, right? Every time I find somebody that has an Airbnb course, I become hell-bent on finding their listing. I'm talking about like diving deep into their, like, I need to know how much you charge, where you're listing, what the reviews are, what your amenities are. And the thing is funny because they don't post their listing, but I still be finding it. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you what I found out. The majority of people that I have found that have listings on, who are doing courses and all other type of stuff, don't have good listings. It's crazy. They either have terrible reviews of things like roaches, people are not caring about their property, customer service is terrible, and they have ratings that are under 4, which I did not know you could even get. I've seen this one person I know talks about how much money she made in like the first month or something like that. I go look at her units now. She's not even getting booked. And it's like, it's so many different things that I'm looking at. And I'm like, wow, this is just crazy, because from the outside looking in, they don't really tell you what their units are. They don't tell you, oh, here's my listing. Look at them. It's really, which I think is crazy. Think about that. Think about this. This is crazy. How many gurus who have Airbnb listings can you just go on their page and find it? Can you just go right to a link and go, oh, this is John's page. Let me check his listings. Oh, wow, he's got a 4.9 rating with 300 reviews. Everybody loves it. No, you don't see that. I don't see that. What I normally see is you got to go through this, jump through this hoop, throw them through that hoop. Then I find out they only got 3 listed. Listen, all I'm saying is I've been doing a lot of research on these guru people, and they not hitting like they should be hitting. So that's where we at with that. The last thing I want to talk about for life update. All right. This is something that it gets me very, very annoyed about. It's this whole COVID pandemic, mandate, mask, vax, all of that stuff, all of those things, right? I'm very irritated by them. And for people who don't know, I have a very close relationship with COVID. Okay, my dad had it, and it did not kill him, but the reactions of people to him having it is what killed him. That's how I always say that he was murdered by a lot of people close to him because they overreacted and they took him to the hospital. And at that time, nobody knew what they were doing in the hospital. Come to find out, they're still doing the same things that they were doing back then now. And it seems as though once they get to the hospital, people's death rate go up at the hospital. I have a lot of videos around maybe like the first, I don't know, maybe like episode 7, I think. I talk about a lot of this stuff. Honestly, episode 1 to like I want to say 10 in that area. I talk a lot about what was happening during that time, right? So I have a very strong feeling about COVID, right? So recently it just came out that New York, which is where I live, they are going to mandate stores and restaurants. They are making a mandate that you have to be vaccinated to get into a store or a restaurant or go eat indoors and things like that, right? Now, the reason why I'm so upset about this is because I remember last year when this was happening, right? It was so crazy. I was saying, you know what's going to happen is they're going to make it so that you get a vaccine, and they're going to make it so that you have to show your phone to get into different places, right? Saying this last year, right? Now, it's not about a conspiracy theory. It's not about the government is doing this and doing that. It's just it's what makes sense. They're going to make sure that you have to have some type of identification to get into multiple different places, right? And they're going to make sure that you have your phone to do so. Now, the reason why I have an issue with that is because I personally do not feel like somebody or anybody should be making me get a vaccine. A lot of people are like to say, well, they're not making you get a vaccine, right? If you deprive me of all of my necessities of life, you can call that making me get a vaccine. If you think about if you go in a court of law, right? Honestly, I want to think you sue somebody for this. If you sign a contract under duress, which could mean you have a gun to your head, that contract is void because they know that you only did that because you were fearful for your life. So they know that contract does not count. But for whatever reason, they're ignoring the fact that they're telling you can't. It's not got to that point yet. I just want y'all to know it's on their way there. It has not got there yet. It's gonna get to that point where you can't get an Uber unless you show you're vaccinated. You're not going to be able to go to Amazon, to the Whole Foods. You won't be able to go to the supermarket. You won't be able to go to restaurant. You won't be able to do anything until you show that you got vaccinated, right? That's what's going to happen. My theory is they are going to keep this new every couple of months. It's going to be either a super spike or it's going to be a new virus until I don't know what their number is. Maybe 90%, 99%. I don't know what the number is of people who are vaccinated. And then they'll go, okay, everything is gone. Everybody's safe now. Here's my problem with that, right? I personally don't think that they are trying to keep people safe from the virus. That's my problem. That is my issue. If I felt like, okay, this virus is really killing people, I would go, damn, maybe we got to do something, right? But here's what I've realized or seen with the virus. A lot of people are not dying in their house. That was my first thing. Because if something is this deadly, you would think that a lot of people would just be dropping dead in their house. I don't ever hear about how high the numbers are. People just falling out and being found dead in their home from COVID. I don't hear that, right? What I do hear, though, is that they die in the hospital. A lot of people, if not 99% of them, are dying in the hospital. So then I go, all right, that's kind of strange. I start thinking about what was happening last year during the whole pandemic, what the biggest concern was back then. The biggest concern that people have is not that COVID is killing people. I want people to understand that. If you really look into it, listen to the language. The problem that people have is that once you get COVID, the hospitals become too packed. They become overpacked, whatever you want to call it, right? That's what the problem is. So they are trying to prevent people from going into the hospital and filling the hospital up because now everybody got a cough. You got 400 people in the hospital and the hospital only has occupancy of 100. Now, all the hospitals, nobody can, if you have an actual ailment, you can't get in the hospital because 100 people or 40 people in front of you talking about, oh my God, I'm about to die. I feel like I'm about to die, right? That's their biggest concern. It was never about being healthy. Another thing, the majority of people who were dying from COVID, now they just, it's craziness now. Now everybody getting it, whatever. It was the people who were more or less morbidly unhealthy. They were overweight. They had pre-existing health conditions. They had unhealthy lifestyles. Those are the people who they were elderly people who were dying, right? So all those things for me go, you know what? this is not really something that I think people are dying from. And then you'll hear this all the time. Okay? This is not a new thing. People who get hit by a car, it sounds preposterous. You're going to think I'm saying craziness. If you get hit by a car, if you fall off your roof, if you have cancer and you have COVID, it is listed as a COVID death. This is not new. This is not something I just made up. It's just happening. It's already been happening. So I'm like, okay, the numbers are being overinflated, right? So these are just all the reasons why I don't trust what's going on. If they were doing things that I feel like I could trust, then maybe I might even get the vaccine, but I don't trust them for that reason. Bro, it's so many different things. Then they call me. I get calls almost every other day, 2-3 calls a day to get vaccinated. They have, since when has anybody cared about my health this much that they are calling me, hey, did you get vaccinated? They're giving people donuts. They're giving you $100. They're giving you free Uber rides. You get a free sandwich. They're like, we need you to get vaccinated. And I'm like, so I can guarantee you, right? If people were on the street bleeding out their eyeballs because they caught COVID, I can guarantee you don't need a marketing campaign to get somebody to get vaccinated. You will go, do you see that guy over there? You don't want to be him. Get vaccinated. And you would be like, damn, that's crazy. My person caught it, I would start falling out. You wouldn't need this mass social media campaign. You don't need all the companies to start putting it on their advertisements, how great it is. You don't need song. You don't need all these different, bruh, I don't have a radio, right? I don't listen to the radio at all. Whenever I get in a car to go to Philadelphia with Melissa, sometimes the radio comes on, right? That is the only time I have the radio on. And they non-stop, 3 times between each song, are telling people to get vaccinated. Everywhere you go, it says get vaccinated. If it was really that serious, I'm telling you, you don't have to tell people to get vaccinated if they're really dying. So now I want to come back to a clip I heard earlier. All right. You all may know somebody called Andrew Schultz. He's a comedian. He has a podcast called Flagrant 2. And I have an issue with a lot of his takes on this. He used to be against the vaccine, right? And he's a self-proclaimed hypocrite. For me, it's hard to respect a person that is proclaimed to be a hypocrite. And then here's my reason why. If I willingly know that I'm going to go against what I'm saying, why am I saying it? What's the point of me saying it? If I know that I think that the vaccine is dangerous, I'm not going to come on here and say the vaccine is the most positive, greatest thing to ever exist. And then tomorrow come on here and say, no, it's not. That's not true. And then knowingly do that. Because here's the thing. I feel as though if you have new information about a topic, you can change your stance based off your new information. Until you get more new information, that should be your stance. There shouldn't be just like, well, I'm just whatever I feel like. I'm just flipping around. I don't really have no reason for it. I'm just whatever. It is what it is. And I feel like that's what he's doing. He was saying that and this is why it angers me. He was saying that he would be upset if he has to wear a mask with the vaccine because he feels like entered into a contract that, hey, if I get the vaccine, I should be able to go into the store without a mask on, right? And that's what he feels like. And I'm like, why do you think that they won't lie to you too? Because before it was, if you have a mask, everybody's fine. You be fine with a mask on. You wear gloves, you're fine. You go out in the sun, you can't catch it in the sunlight. Then it was you catch it in the sunlight. So my thing is, why is it now that you are picking and choosing to go, okay, you know what? I'm on the other side. I got vaccinated, right? I'm the good one. You should let me in. And it's like I said, it just bothers me because people like that with a large platform who are very scared. And I think it's crazy because he only got it because his girlfriend got it and his girlfriend wanted him to get it. So that's why he got it. Whether he wanted to actually get it or not, he got it for that reason, which I think is crazy because now he then comes on the podcast and says, well, listen, guys, whatever. If y'all die, fuck it. It is what it is. And I'm like, bro, you was not like that a couple of months ago when you didn't have it. So now, whenever I hear him talk about it, he sounds like a person that is almost defeated. Like, yeah, man, Yeah, man. I got it. I did. And I just feel like everybody else should also be vaccinated. I think you guys need to get vaccinated. I feel like, and like I said, it just comes off as very disingenuous when I hear it. Okay, what do you think? What do you think about? What's your opinion on it? Because I'm curious what you think.
My opinion on
whether or not there should be how the mask mandate should be.
A mask mandate?
Well, vaccine mandate.
Vaccine mandate? I just don't. My thing is that I don't understand how the vaccine is supposed to work. I tried to look it up. Tried to look it up and read what the CDC says about how it works, because they said that it doesn't make you immune to COVID. It helps you to build immunity to it by putting a dead strand of either RNA or whatever genetic information is from the COVID into you, but not the actual COVID strain. They're very clear with that, right? And then your body is still fighting it, but it has the antibodies or whatever it remembers, so when it comes across it again, it could fight it better, right? That just sounds like your body's doing the thing it's supposed to do. That's what it sounds like to me. So, me personally, I don't really. You can still catch it if you have the vaccine. It feels very unnecessary for them to push it the way that they're pushing it. So, I feel like if you have a negative COVID test, you should be fine to do whatever it is.
That's another thing that's important too, which is things are not making any sense. People are saying, if you have the vaccine, we want you to come into our restaurant. You don't have to be. You could have COVID with the vaccine. So think about how crazy that is. You could come to them and say, hey, I have a negative COVID test. And they'll go, I hear you, but are you vaccinated? And you go, no, you can't come in here. The person shows you a vaccination card, fully COVID. They got COVID all up and down their body. They're like, look at my card, though. Walk into the restaurant. Now, these are the reasons why I don't trust any of this stuff. Not because I think that vaccines are bad. Not because I think the government is crazy. It's just none of this makes any sense. So I'm not about to willingly put this in my arm. It doesn't make any sense. You come up to me and say, hey, take this. Imagine you go out to a bar. Somebody goes, hey, take this drink with it. And you're like, who are you? Don't worry about it. Just take this. And then like, it's good for you. And I go, but why? Don't worry about it. Just take it. I'm not drinking that. I don't care what you tell me about it. I don't know what this is. I don't know who you are. I don't believe. And here's the other thing too about it, right? Maybe if the person was credible who was saying this. If Melissa said to me, hey babe, I got a cup of water, here you go. I'll drink that. She hasn't tried to kill me, right? Now, if Melissa tried to give me water, right? And I saw her spit in it once, I would go, you trying to give me water again? I don't really trust that. She'd be like, no, don't worry about it. I didn't spit in it. I go, okay, right? I would drink it. She goes, damn, fuck, I spit in it. I would be like, Melissa, you told me you didn't spit in this. Well, I thought I didn't, but I did. That's how I feel about COVID. Because if the government came out with actual information that they knew was working, they felt like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to work. This is what's going on. And they're not going back and forth. I might be able to go, you know what? All right, I get this.
Yeah, I think that's funny. Because there are certain things that are mandated for you to get in order to be in the school system and everything like that. Just offer it. I think chickenpox, polio,
bruh, stuff that we right.
Yeah. Things that there was no, well, not that I know of, discussion about. And the thing about this that I feel like is kind of interesting is that I feel like people can kind of conflate. The people think that when they say there's no studies that support negative findings with the vaccine, that they think that means that they did studies and it came back as negative. Like there's no effects from the studies that they did. And that's not necessarily true. It could be that there is literally no study. Like there's nothing out, there's no test that was did to prove whether or not this is correct or not. And I think that language is very iffy, and it's just it's like, I was going to say suspicious. It feels like someone's lying to you.
Yes.
It's like not trustworthy.
Right. And that's how I feel about a lot of this. I feel like there's only so many times you could go back and forth and be like, well, you should still trust me. I'm like, based off of what? Because here's my thing too. even if we were to remove just the vaccine stuff in itself, let's just remove this whole 2020, 2021, right? If I asked you in the last decade, do you trust the government? You would probably be like, I mean, not really, but they're not doing nothing to me. Like, I don't, like, not really. If I said, do you think the government lies to you? Do you think you would say, what do you think you would say? 5 years ago, I said, let me ask you a question. Hey, Bill, do you think the government be lying to you? Do you think that the majority of people are going to be like, of course not. The government never lies to us. You probably wouldn't say that, right? So now, why do we think that now they're not lying? That's my whole thing. Is not only we have the history of them lying, what they're doing now don't make any sense. Like Melissa was saying, right? If it was smallpox, polio, anything like that, they're gonna be like, we don't give a fuck. You are on quarantine. Like, it wouldn't be like a optional quarantine. If we're coming to your house and you are not going outside, like, there is no question about. We know for 100% fact, if you get this, you could kill the whole building. You are staying in your house. We don't care about none of that other stuff we heard about. You're going in the house, or we'll grab you and take you to a facility, and you're gonna stay there. But there's no, well, I mean, can you please stay in the house for this super deadly virus that's gonna kill the whole world? We know it's gonna destroy the whole planet, but pretty please stay in the house. That don't even make sense to me. You can't on one end tell me how incredibly dangerous this is with the information that I know the government has done in the past. They do all types of crazy shit when they think that there's a problem. But then you're going to tell me they're going to follow it up with, can you wear a mask for this super dangerous, deadly disease? Think about how crazy that. Imagine, I don't even know how Ebola works. I don't know how any of the disease works.
Ebola is crazy. Ebola, like.
But no, how do you catch it though?
Cells.
But how do you catch Ebola? Because this is my thing, right? They don't ever say to you, wear a mask for no other disease. I have never heard in my life the solution to a disease that you could catch a virus was wear a mask. I have never heard that in my life. I've never heard they were like, listen, guys, what was that? What was that one call from before? The not smallpox. It was what was that meat virus that they said with what's her name? Oprah. The mad cow disease, right? They had that one. They had the other the super bug. That one came out too. Listen, I've never heard not one time they were like, bro, there's this super crazy virus. Everybody wear a mask, right? So now, not only do we have a virus that is supposedly doing way more damage than any other disease we've ever had, the solution for it is to put a mask on. Like, again, I'm not against vaccines. If you want to get a vaccine, by all means. My thing is, it does not make any sense. It don't make sense. You could tell me people are dying. Sure, there's a lot of information about people who are dying. Tell me the last thing I say about this, because like I said, I'm going to go on and on for this. People are saying that people are dying from the vaccine. Right, Donivan? People are dying from this. Oh, my God. Oh, from the not from the vaccine. That people are dying from the virus, right? And you look at the numbers. The majority of people are not dying from the vaccine. That's number one. I mean, I keep saying vaccine, from the virus. People are not dying from the vaccine.
People should have died.
That's another thing, right? People just losing their minds. People go, oh my God, people shouldn't die from this. We can't have nobody die. Now all of a sudden, nobody's allowed to die. Now all of a sudden, it's people who are old, who are going to die, who are already sick, are being counted as COVID death. That's number one. Then you have situations where you go to the hospital where there's malpractice in the hospitals. It has already been shown. It's been shown that ventilators are not the best option. If not, I don't think they're a good option if you have COVID. But somehow, some way, people who I know are still getting put on ventilators in the hospital. It's been shown that the ventilators are increasing deaths. Then they incentivize the hospitals by putting people on ventilators. That doesn't make any sense to me. That makes no sense. So my closing statement is this. You cannot lie to me over and over and over and over again, right? And then ask me to do something that could possibly harm me. I don't trust you. I would not trust you. If I felt like the government was all about keeping people healthy and safe, when they don't care. Bruh, like I'm saying, think about how crazy it is. Do you think that the vaccine, or not, the virus is killing more people than unhealthy food is in America? Do you think that? Do you think that all the unhealthy things that we have, whether the soda, the sugar, the soy, all these different things that are dangerous that we know kill people over a longer period of time, cause all types of physical ailments, they don't do nothing as close to this for that. Nothing at all. But for this, the whole world gets shut down. So now you trying to tell me they care about our health. And people like this, people's argument for that. This is the last thing I'm going to say. People's argument is this. Oh, people have a choice to eat a hamburger. You don't have a choice to catch COVID. And I go, sure. I understand that's your argument. Listen, I get that that's how you feel, right? That's not my argument. My argument is, why doesn't the government care about the health of people on this side as opposed to the health of people on that side? If it's about choice, if I say, listen, if everybody here is vaccinated, why do y'all care if I'm not? If it's about choice and if you telling me that you don't care about the hamburger situation because I made a choice to do that, then why is it now that I don't have the choice to go around and be unhealthy around outside?
You can't, because it affects other people.
So does being sick and being fat and being unhealthy and getting cancer. All types of these things affect everybody. Nobody gets cancer and sits in the house and goes, "Oh, I got cancer." No, you have to go to the hospital. You have to have people pay for it. You have to have all types of things come up. Do we care about what's more contagious or what's killing people more? Because if you're telling me a virus is killing 10 people and this burger is killing 1,000, fuck the virus. I don't give a fuck about the virus. Stop the hamburgers. The hamburgers is the one that's killing people. Stop them. Stop the old hamburgers. They're the ones that's fucking everybody up. It ain't the virus. The hamburgers. Stop them. They need to somebody needs to come and get them out of here because they're the ones that's murdering people. That's my problem. So again, that's it for life update. I'm gonna go to episode playback. So Melissa was almost scammed last week with a checking scam where they sent her a check to deposit the check for a job that she applied to on what? Where did you apply to this job? Was it Craigslist? Facebook. Listen, I don't trust Facebook. Don't trust Facebook. I'm saying y'all be trusting. How y'all don't trust nobody. Y'all don't trust nobody. Y'all don't trust Facebook. Y'all trust Instagram. Y'all trust McDonald's. But y'all all of a sudden want the vaccine. Y'all trust the how? I know. I'm just saying it's so crazy. We were not able to go on the date I was excited to go on, but we will. It was postponed because Melissa has been working. So she has finally got to work as a production assistant. Got it right. Okay. I know there's a P and an A in there. Yes, a P and A. And Friday she went and worked for free to get some experience, and then she also went on Sunday she got paid that day. Airbnb, she said it was really suspicious. I guess they want a very grungy look, so instead of having a set design, they decided to go to Brooklyn and go to Brownsville. Is it Brownsville? And go inside somebody's house in Brownsville to get the grungy look, as opposed to just some set. I guess maybe you save money. I don't know. But according to her, it was here's how bad it was, right? Imagine you go into a place and you're surprised about the amount of roaches you don't see. Like, that's crazy. Imagine you go to a place and you go, damn, I only saw 3 roaches here. I could have sworn it's gonna be more. That's crazy. Like, that's how you know a place is bad. Like, you like, damn, I only saw 3 roaches. Like, whoo, that place is safe. Like, that's how bad a place gotta be. So that's where she was at on Sunday. So we're gonna try and figure something out. Hopefully, if the Airbnb thing comes through this week, we might postpone our date again to another week. But Melissa is working because she felt like her time could be used better than just there, and for the work that she was doing, because she was more or less sitting down for the most part for 12 hours for the day. And she got paid $75 for the day. So it averages out to about $6 an hour or something like that. So at that point, it's like, I spent the whole day here. I could have been doing other things that could have produced more money, have better return on my investment of my time. So,
I wasn't learning anything.
Right. And it wasn't even as if she was getting information she could bring back and use. It was just, all right, Now cut. That's it. All right, good job. Next scene. I ain't cut. That's all she got. So at the end of the day, like I said, she's still applying. So what is the plan now? What are you?
I have a friend that's coming back. Shout out to Diamond from Pittsburgh soon. So she said that if she could get me onto whatever show she will be working on in the future, she would do that. And I take her word for it because she's been so tremendously helpful for this whole process of me trying to get into this line of work. But I'm going to keep applying, but I'm not going to really bank on it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm going to just try and do the things that I know would get me the return I'm looking for. So that's like editing the videos and all of that stuff. I'm going to focus my attention back on that and my appraiser course. Yeah. And then if I get PA work, I get PA work.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, we're at 940 subscribers. Now, I want to do like 1,000 subscriber special, but I don't know what I want to do. I want to go, personally in my mind, I want to go to Six Flags and celebrate it there. That's me. That's what I want to do. But I want to go somewhere and have our 1,000 subscriber there, wherever that place is, and celebrate it there. It's been a long journey. It's only the beginning. We just about to hit that 1,000 mark, and then just take off, right? So there's that. I talked about the anxiety jewelry that I bought from Melissa and this other like fidget. I don't even know what it's called. It doesn't really have a name. It just says fidget something. Melissa, I'm assuming you don't like the ring because I don't see you wear it. That's my theory, is that you don't. It doesn't. I don't know. You don't like it.
I'm not used to it.
So okay, so she's not used to it. So I think that she doesn't like it. That's how I interpret that. And the fidget one, I feel like you don't use it as much.
I don't know where it is.
Okay, well, it just fell behind the bed this morning because Rock knocked it off the bed. So there's that. Then let's see. Oh, so okay, like I said, we're coming with that new content for you guys, right? I recently bought a pen camera. It's a pen, right, with a camera in it, very discreet. And the reason that I bought that for you guys is so that when I go on these interviews, when I go to talk to buildings, when I'm inside these high value places, I can get that content for you guys. So you guys could see what goes down in the real DMs. So y'all can see word for word what I be saying, how I be saying it, what they be saying, what the dealio really is. I got that for y'all. All right. Well, can you pass me the pen? I want to show this in the, you know where it is? It's inside of the camera bag on the outside. It should be zipped up. You're not going to believe how fire this pen is. I bet you won't believe how fire this shit is. You can't even tell. And you can write with it too. Look at this. All right, boom. Here you go. Look at this. Now, I bet you can't even see where the camera is. I'll give y'all 5 seconds. There you go. Look at it. Put it like this. Turn it around for you. Boom. You didn't even see it. You know why? Because I could close it. I hit it with this little button right here. Look at that. Boom. Now you see it. Now you don't. I'm going to have it like this. So, sir, hey, let me ask you a question. Do you guys take corporate leases? You do. That's perfect. So, actually, I have a corporate housing company. And I actually wanted to know, can we get you know what? Let's go to a tour. Let's talk. Something like that. You feel me? All I'm saying is content for you guys. I listened to last week's podcast. I think that I was speaking fast. It's not that bad as compared to, a lot of older podcasts. But I feel like I can still get better at it. I can still speak slower and still get my point across without losing my energy. Okay? So there's that. And I don't know if y'all heard this. And I'm not sure how to fix this or if it was a problem or what happened. But I heard a sound in the mic. Now, it could have been the gain was too high. It's possible that was it. But it sounded fine when I'm not wearing the AirPods. Without the AirPods, it sounds spectacular. With the AirPods in, I could kind of hear like a white noise in the background. So I can't tell if it was actually the filter in the house or if it was just white noise. So I'm going to try to look at that. I don't know if anybody else heard it or not. If you did, you can let me know. I can, see how y'all feel about it, because I think people listen to the podcast for the majority on YouTube. I don't know how they listen to it on YouTube, as far as do they sit down and watch it. I don't know. People put in their AirPods, put on the TV and walk around the house. I don't know. So I don't really know what your listening experience is. So I'm going based off how I listen to it, which is usually in my AirPods. And then I think as far as the episode playback, that is probably it. Now, I might cover one topic. What's the one topic? Let me go to the top. Let's go to the top. Let me just see. Let me just go up. Let me just see what it was. All right. So I'm going to do the first one. All right. Boom. Here we go. The topic I want to talk about is women of color, my black queens who are out there. And funny enough, Melissa thinks that because I love black women, that I would never fuck a white woman, which is crazy to me. I don't know why she would think that. I can't say that I would marry or date a white woman, but I would definitely, if you want to get the cheeks clapped, listen, I'm clapping. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know if I don't know if I would feel comfortable. I've never dated a white woman, so I don't. It's not for me. But regardless of that fact, I brought this up because I've been doing a poll recently with black women flirting, right? Now, it's been brought to my attention that black women are not very good at flirting. Ask yourself, if you're a black woman, listen to this. If you are flirting with a guy, how do you do it? What is your game? Oh, you have Melissa raise her hand. How do you do it, Melissa? What do you do?
I tell the guy that he's cute.
You telling me he's cute? Okay, that's one. Okay, I feel like that's not common, but okay, there you go. Tell him he's cute. What else you guys do? That's it? So you got? Hey, you cute? Uh-huh. He says thank you.
My ex.
Struggling.
You're asking for his number.
You can ask him for his number. That's a Melissa. That's a Melissa thing. Oh, sure. Melissa's obviously an outlier because every other woman we asked said, I don't do shit. I just sit there. That's what they all said.
Listen, my nickname was Melly the Man.
I remember. And majority of black women just sit there and go, you don't see me? All right, how about now? You don't see me again? How about now? And then they might do like a little bat of their eye. They might turn their shoulder, right? I just think it's so interesting, right? The reason why I was thinking about this is because Melissa and I were having a conversation about whether or not why do white women get the high value black men? That's what we was talking about. That's like the common theme online, right? So I'm like, well, obviously black women are not in the same spaces as these white women. You need to go hang out with these white women, find out where they find these high value black men. Because every time you ask a black woman, where are the great black men? They all say, I don't know where they at. I don't know where to find them at.
You don't know where they at, and you a black man.
But that's different because somehow all the other races know where they at. The foreigners, the whites, they all know where to find these great black men. All of the smart, educated, successful, respectful black men, they know where to find them somehow. But you ask the black women where they at, I don't know where they at. I can't find them nowhere, right? That's what they be saying. So, what?
I'm wondering if because black men are kind of naturally seen as aggressive, that other races automatically find black men to be manly just for being black. And for black women, because we're black, it's like you just being black doesn't automatically mean that you're a man.
That's interesting. That's a very interesting point. I didn't think about that. I could see that. Like they feel like we're like scary. They be like, oh my God, he said no. Oh shit.
Yeah, like if you're a white woman or I guess a Spanish woman or whatever, and that's the people that you're around. If you bring a black man into that space, he automatically is, I guess, kind of that alpha person in that space because he's black.
Even like with Asian women, I can see that too. That's interesting. So that's a very interesting situation. Because like I said, I was trying to understand why is it that this happens. So I was thinking, what?
and just another the other thought that came up in my head is that that's how you can have the accountant that's afraid of like that doesn't like going outside or whatever, like whatever things we like women would
call it pussy. That's being soft, being a bitch.
Yes, he could be no. But he could be not the typical aggressive, figure in your mind that you see as a black man.
A strong black man.
What do you mean?
You're saying that he's not a strong black man.
He could be strong his own way, but when I'm saying it doesn't take as much for him to be that. Whereas if you're with, do you get what I'm saying?
No, I call it kinda, but you didn't finish the statement, so I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying that. Fuck. What am I saying? I just had it.
Let's take your time.
Is that when okay, because example, chill out.
Oh.
When a black woman wants like
an aggressive. What word are you not trying to say? Is it aggressive?
I don't know.
Strong.
It's
is it a
It's one of those words. Because, but I also don't want to say that that's what it is. I'm not speaking what's on my mind.
Yes. What is it? Right.
Okay. Because I don't want to make it seem like if you're a black man and you're an accountant or whatever, that makes you less of a man or whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I think that people do feel like that though, where it's like, oh, he don't be doing enough, he don't be picking me up and swinging me around, and he doesn't take charge and take command. I think it doesn't take as much for someone in that position. Okay, because what I think I'm trying to say is that a lot of the times the black women aren't attracted to the same guy that they would be attracted to because they're not as manly in their perspective as they are to the other races.
So okay, because I said I feel like you're trying to skirt around whatever you're trying to say. So it sounds what I'm hearing is black women don't want to date guys in non-exciting positions because they don't deem him to be a strong black man.
Yes.
Okay.
And it just kind of sucks because it's like you felt like he was a nerd, or you felt like he was a punk or a whip.
So now whose fault is that? That's the black woman's fault. That's not the guys. That's not our fault. If I'm an accountant and I'm not trying to be real aggressive, I'm real soft spoken, and I'm making 6, 8 figures, 7 figures a year, and I have a nice car and I'm attractive and I go to the gym, but I'm an accountant. It's like, that's not my fault that you don't like me as an accountant.
No. That's not. I don't think that's necessarily the archetype.
Okay. I'm an accountant. I am slightly overweight. Not over. I'm like out of shape.
Either way.
Okay, out of shape, scrawny. My clothes a little too big, but I'm funny. Does that count? Can I be funny? Because I'm like, when I think about the girls when I hear about women who say that the high value black man is attracted to white women, it's normally the type of black man that a black woman wants. It's not normally they're looking at a guy like, oh, this white woman got Bill from the accounting department. It's usually this white woman got this super attractive actor who's black.
I think that people don't take into consideration the fact that they might not have always been that way. So it's kind of like if you were talking to him before he got to where he is now, he probably wouldn't end up with the white woman. If that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely. That's 100% true too. I feel like a lot of people who are I'm thinking guys like Lil Yachty and maybe like Tyler the Creator. I think they kind of talk about this a little bit, where growing up, black women weren't attracted to them because they were kind of on the outskirts. They weren't the quote unquote black guy. They were like something else. So then black girls are like, ugh, you're not really like black. I don't really know if I want to talk to you. Then they become successful, and now it's like, yeah, when I wasn't this, y'all wasn't fucking with me. Now that I'm this, y'all fucking with me. So, and now the white women been fucking with me this whole time. So, like I said, my whole thing is, because that's partly, I agree with that. I definitely think that's part of the issue, is how black women perceive black men. Now, I do think you can't force a woman to go and like somebody she don't like. That's just what it is. Now, but I think what has to happen is black women have to understand that this is my theory. This is kind of, I think that black women have been made to be the strongest, you want to call it race or gender of everybody. I think it's black women, and then I think it's black men. I think that they put so much weight on people, on us, that it's like, okay, damn, you have to carry all of this weight, and if you carry it, it just makes you stronger. So now, because you are so strong as a black woman, it's like, damn, I now have to find a black man stronger than me. The pool becomes very, very, very small. As a black guy, you're not really trying to find a black woman stronger than you. That's just not really what you're trying to look for. And it isn't necessarily their fault. It's just how society, I'm coming with this right now. I feel as though society has just made black women so strong. It's like, I don't really want to deal with your strong ass. That's it. And it's whoever. It could be a problem if you want it to be, or it cannot. If you're a black woman, you go, you know what? I want to find a man that's strong enough to deal with me. Fine, you could do that. But you can guarantee that the black man is probably not going to want to look for the super strong black woman who's going to be combative. So,
I don't know. I don't like that.
I know.
Part that you were saying.
I know.
I agree with the first part.
Hold on. Before you go, let me get your take. So this comes back to the flirting thing. I feel as though white women will throw themselves at black men. Oh my God. Oh my, look at this. Oh my goodness. Please, please, please. Oh my God. You're so cute. Oh, I want to kiss you on your mouth and suck your dick right now. That's what I think they'll do. I don't necessarily think that is the common archetype for black women. I think that black women are more likely to be like, nah, like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to subject myself to doing that. If she want to do that, fine. But I want a man that's going to walk up to me and look me in my face and tell me this and that and the third. Run some real game. And that's fine. You can want that. And the guy that you finally do get will be a great man. The problem is you are asking him to walk by all of these other people who are throwing themselves at him to come to you. He reaches you, and then now you're testing him. It's like, all right. So now, what are you gonna say?
Because I'm like, because the black women are super strong, and I think that's what it is too. Okay, that's what it is. I think yes, black women are very strong, and like you said, the pool gets, because the way that you said it was like, oh well, you know, if you're so strong, nobody, guys are less likely to want to deal with all of that combativeness and all that strength and want to fight. I think that the issue more so that I see is that because black women are so strong, you then have to fight over the strongest black men. So you
have to fawn over or fight over?
Kind of fight over the strongest black men. Because just being a black man, that's strong enough for the other races. But being a black man isn't enough. You need to be like in the top 50, top 20 percentile of black men in order to be on par with the average black women. So I think that the problem is more so scarcity too. And I'm not telling women to lower their standards.
Me neither. I'm not saying that either.
I think personally that men can do some getting together because it's not adding up, and I think that because you know there's strength that comes from being black, they're able to kind of not necessarily do the minimum to be with other races because you know they end up being the top tier or whatever men that ends up with the other races. It's just something's not added up. I'm just leave it there.
No. Yeah, like I said, another thing too, I have heard that it is all a lie and that black men are dating black women too. So there's also that. And it is just could be social media that be lying. So
I think it's the people that people look up to.
Yes, but it's right. And this is the issue, you know, this is gonna be the last thing I say. The successful people that we look up to are usually very insecure. because they're usually in the media. I've learned that most media people are very insecure, which is why they want to be in media, because they want everybody to look at them. So it's very likely that an insecure black man would date a white woman. That's very likely. And I think that a very confident black man would have no problem dating a strong black woman. So there's that. Because another thing too is, if you're a guy, if you're a man who's a man, I don't even think you have to be a manly man. I think if you're just a responsible, firm, and fair individual as a guy, you can date any black woman you want.
I agree.
So, and then when you date her, she's going to turn into what you think a white woman would be. She'll be, oh my God, oh my God, all of that. So, I will drop I'm going to drop my manly man course on how to be a manly man. But y'all know what it is. We will be back here next Tuesday at hopefully an earlier time. If you have not, you can go check out social medias. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and the phenomenal, amazing, beautiful girlfriend AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. We have the food project, we got the clothing project, we got the music project, we got the sports project, we got the fitness project, and we got the Bamboo Project podcast, which you just finished listening to right now. You know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2021. We going up all year. You know the vibes. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.